Good afternoon, everyone. It is my distinct honor to be here. I was thinking on the way, and I drove in from Grand Rapids this afternoon, and I realized, I did the math, and I walked away from this campus 17 years ago with my bachelor's degree in hand. And now I've been invited to come and share some of the lessons I've learned over those past 17 years, speaking from this side. And so from that perspective, it's my great pleasure to be here. And what I want to do today is be respectful of your time, so I'm going to try to move through these slides pretty quickly. I understand that we're the only thing between you and the rest of this beautiful day. So we've got a tough time slot here. But I want to describe to you the way that my company, Herman Miller, has embedded sustainability into everything that we do inside our company. And from my perspective, what we try to do, what my team is focused on, is really designing a better world for us all to live in. For those of you who aren't familiar with Herman Miller, we were formed in 1923, and our business was focused on creating knockoff pieces of 19th century furniture. The owner of our company quickly realized that was not a sustainable business. We were losing money, and we had to reinvent ourselves. And throughout our history, our company has been forced with challenges and had the opportunity to reinvent ourselves, beginning with pioneering the design of modern furniture, the creation of systems furniture or cubicles in the late 60s, inventing the category of ergonomic seating. Our around chair, as an example, is held up as an icon of design. It's inside the Museum of Modern Art. And our sales last year, fiscal year, had us at about $1.5 billion, so we're by no means huge. But in terms of our brand equity in the area of sustainability, I think we're much larger than our total sales volume. And I really feel that we have the opportunity to help make the world a better place. Every one of us inside this room. It's not just me and my team at Herman Miller, but it's everything that we do, from the choices we make with the products we purchase. We all have the ability to help answer the call that Xiaojin made to us. I do believe that this is an important time, the most important time in the history of our species, and we can all make a difference. I want to start with a story. And the story is the facility that I sit in is called our greenhouse manufacturing site. It's a green building. It was designed by Bill McDonough, the author of Cradle to Cradle. And it was designed using the LEED building standards before they existed. And one of the early problems we had were that some paper wasps had taken up residence just outside our front door. And our facility manager didn't want to spray pesticides on the site. We had taken all this great care to design this fantastic facility. And so he was a beekeeper, and he realized that if we brought some bees on site, they would naturally displace these paper wasps. And so today, if any of you come out and visit our facility, one of the things we ask our guests to do is take away honey. And that's a byproduct of our design choice. And to me, this is a great example of how we approach problem solving inside our company. And that's the first story I want to leave you with. Our company has a set of values that we aspire to. I think if we look at the presentation we just saw, the different types of business, I think it's our goal to become that sustainable enterprise, that type 3 business model. Are we there yet? I think we've got a long ways to go. But I think we have the opportunity to get there, and it goes back to the foundational values of our corporation. The ones I want to highlight here are this idea of design. And it's not just about what we design, it's what we don't design, and looking for those opportunities to change the world we live in, to make the world a better place. Transparency with our employees, with our community members. You have to have transparency in this world of sustainability because people don't generally believe you as a corporation. I work for a small company, but there's this general regard that we're all inherently evil. And so what we try to do is be as honest and open as we can with where we're at and where we're going. And again, this idea of having meaning. If you really want to harness the talents of your employees, you have to give them a sense of purpose. And that's one of the great things about working at my company is allowing our employees to use whatever talents they have and help our corporation. There's so many different facets to this concept of sustainability. I know the premise of the program that you've all sat through for the past 2 days has been about energy and water. Well, my client base inside my company, those are certainly key metrics, but there's a lot more involved, and I've highlighted just a few of them. And it's everything from carbon footprint, life cycle assessment, our water footprint, the durability of our products, the push for zero toxics, Our customers are demanding that we disclose what chemicals are used in our products, and they're pushing for us to use things that don't harm people or the environment. If I focus in on a few of these, the idea of low impact materials, the demand for things that are free of. It's hard to watch the news today without seeing some latest news story where the media is trying to scare us into things like BPA free or formaldehyde free, PVC free, lead free. All these things are coming at us at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and you have to have a system in place to make sure you're working the right thing. And as a business, you can't be everything to everyone. And I think that the challenge for my team is to provide the leadership and provide that true north direction so that we know where we're going and that we're able to satisfy most of our clients. Energy efficiency. Energy efficiency is something that we've been an early adopter of. We're early partners with the Green Lights program that morphed into the energy efficiency program with the EPA. And these things not only help us with our efficiency, they save our carbon emissions, they also lower our costs. And one of the premises throughout my presentation is going to be that this idea of sustainability and adding costs to our business, that's not necessarily true. If you look at it from a design standpoint and you look for those leverage points, sustainability should actually allow you to create value. The dilemma of quality versus durability. This is an example of two items you may have seen if you've grown up here in the U.S. It's the ubiquitous wagon, little red wagon. And it used to be made out of steel, and they've transitioned over to plastic. And there's this perception of quality and durability. And does it last as long? Does it provide the same performance? At the same time, Radio Flyer needs to make money, just like most corporations. And being a sustainable business means that you're a profitable business. So how do we balance that out as a corporation? We design our products to last a very long time. And it's not just a matter of form and function. There's a certain element of fashion to the products that we supply. And having that element of timeless design is something that we need to consider. The longer these products last, the less frequently they need to be replaced. If I flip it around and start looking at different products, the cell phone that we all carry, those products have short lifetimes. Do they need to be designed to last 50 years? Probably not. Have they been designed to come back and circulate back and come to life as another product? Speaking of that, for reuse and recycling, we have laws that we're dealing with globally, the end-of-life vehicle legislation, waste electronic equipment recycling programs, extended producer responsibility. These laws are coming at us, and proactively, if you're not designing your products to be used in a closed-loop fashion, there's going to be costs that you incur as a business, and so you have to be ready to face those. One of the tools we're starting to use now is life cycle assessment. That's one way for us to evaluate where all the environmental impacts come from our products, from raw material extraction through end-of-life disposal. Some of the tools that we use to design our products to be more sustainable: biomimicry. Nature has been a lot longer than our species. And what we're trying to do at Herman Miller is leverage nature as a mentor. Nature has solved a lot of the problems that we face. And so how do we use that creativity and grab those solutions and help make our products fit into some type of closed-loop system? Another concept we're constantly exploring is the idea of service substitution. Have any of you seen the Zipcar business model? You don't necessarily need a car. You don't have to own a car to get from point A to point B. What you want is the ability to go when you want, when you want, at some time that's convenient for you. And if we turn our business models around from just selling furniture to somebody and then coming back at them when that furniture wears out or they need more, can we transition to some type of business model where we essentially lease the ability to sit on a chair or have a work surface and change our agreement with our customers? That way we can get the materials back. That's another business concept that we don't have fully fleshed out. I don't know anybody who's actually doing this on a large scale, but it's changing our, fundamental right to own things. We don't necessarily have to own everything. We can transition to this strategy where we're just getting that product of service versus a product of consumption. Renewability. There's this huge push for renewable-based materials. Is that a good thing? Extracting all the nutrients from the ground, pulling them into an urban center, and then not composting them, putting them in the landfill, is going to deplete the resources. So if you're focused on renewable resources, you have to think long term, how are those nutrients going to be managed? We can only pull so much out of the ground. A lot of our agriculture today is driven by fossil fuel resources, and we need to rethink these models. I'm not arguing that renewable materials are a bad thing, but the current systems that we have aren't going to allow us to maximize our investment in these types of materials. I said it early on, sustainability is the common thread, or it's what we call the red thread. It runs through everything that we do inside our corporation. And it's not just a green team that's involved with sustainability. We have a central steering team called our Environmental Quality Action Team that focuses the efforts of our programs. We've got our Design for the Environment team, which is focused on products. We have an environmental management system in place. We have a team focused on buildings. We have a large corporate footprint, about 3.5 million square feet of real estate that we manage worldwide. Our focus on green buildings allows us to do that cost effectively, as well as minimize an environmental footprint. You have to obey the law, and so our environmental affairs team manages that. We deal with our processes. Energy reduction is a huge focus for us. I'm going to talk about that in more detail. Packaging, transportation, shipping our products around the country. And we look at the carbon footprint that we have as an organization, roughly a quarter of it is sticking our products on trucks and shipping them around the country. Some of the larger impacts in terms of eutrophication from our products are the cardboard boxes that we sometimes stick our products in. These are the things that we've uncovered over the past 10 years that I've been working at Herman Miller. And the challenge for us is to find cost-effective ways that we can mitigate or hopefully turn these negatives into positives. In 2005, the president of our company, Brian Walker, challenged our team to come up with a series of goals for the year 2020 to help us become the sustainable corporation that we aspire to. And so we launched a series of metrics called our Perfect Vision Environmental Program. And those metrics are 2 of 10 that Brian's performance is based on. As the CEO of our corporation, his compensation is tied to how well we do in this environmental area. And that to me is fundamental in raising the awareness and level of accountability in the area of sustainability inside your organization. Once you integrate it at that level, the rest is easy. And so here are the results. We started tracking our environmental footprint in 1993, 1994. Our fiscal years run June to June, so you'll see me bounce between those two numbers through this presentation. But we've reduced our VOC emissions from, 320 tons. We had it down to 19 tons 2 years ago, and then we bought a company. And our numbers went up. You can see they went up pretty significantly. And as we go through acquisitions, our goals are being put back through those companies that we purchase. And we've got some work to do there, but we've significantly reduced our VOC emissions, and there's been direct cost savings by doing this. Our transition from solvent-based stains and finishes to manufacture our wood case goods products resulted in a large 6-digit savings in terms of natural gas. We were able to turn off some RTOs, some regenerative thermal oxidizers on top of our facilities and no longer ask the state for the right to pollute. That, to me, is good business sense for us. Our hazardous waste reduction, we're down 96% from our baseline year. If I look at our waste to landfill, 92% reduction. We were sending 13,000 tons of material to the landfill in 1994. We've reduced that to 892 last year. Looking at our processed water use, the idea of closing a loop, making sure that all the water that gets used inside the manufacturing operations that we have, driving that down towards zero. We use a tremendous amount of water to clean and paint the metal surfaces that we provide. Renewable energy. We had the goal for 2020 to get to 100% renewable electricity. We actually got there last year, 10 years ahead of schedule. Overall, we've reduced our footprint 91% in those areas over the past 6-7 years. If we look at our focus on energy, in 1981, we created an energy center to burn all the wood waste that we create. This facility provides all of the steam and to power our main site facility. And we had a turbine in place. It was a cogen facility. The turbine actually wore out several years ago. We've been looking for ways to cost justify the addition of a new steam turbine inside this facility and turn it back into a cogen facility. The challenge is In the state of Michigan, our power rates are extremely low. They're roughly 2 times, on a rough basis, what they are in California. So justifying renewable energy purchases is a big challenge for us. But these energy reduction programs that we have in place, we've significantly reduced our base loads in terms of energy and natural gas consumption, driving that down. And there's direct cost savings for our business there. There's environmental savings from that. If we look at it in terms of our carbon footprint, the red section is our Scope 1 emissions. Scope 2 is yellow. And Scope 3 is the green section. Driving those reductions down, savings for the environment, savings for the bottom line of our business. The blue section you see up there is the purchase of renewable energy that we've been buying. And so our goal to purchase that renewable energy, there's a cost premium today. Green power versus brown power, we have to pay more. We've been paying for that upcharge through our cost savings activities. And that's the agreement we have with our senior management team, is that even though it costs more money, we're paying for it with our savings programs, which allows us to be the good corporate citizen that we want to be. There are business benefits. Our recycling program, if you remember those recycling numbers that you saw, driving our landfill numbers down and increasing our recycling rates, we generated $2.4 million in revenue last year. We avoided $500,000 through energy efficiency programs. We avoided permitting fees, disposal fees. It's enhanced our brand value. There's definitely a business side for incorporating sustainability into our business. I'm going to quickly cover buildings. We helped found the U.S. Green Building Council. This organization has gone global. 8 people were sitting around one of our tables at our facility in 1991. From those 8 people, 30,000 attendees attended the annual conference in Chicago last year. This organization has become the poster child of what a volunteer organization can do to transform the marketplace. They have multiple rating systems depending on what type of building you have. For us, what we've seen is that buildings are energy hogs. They consume a lot of resources, they consume a lot of energy, and they generate a huge portion of the CO2 footprint that we leave as a species. On the benefits side, there's a dramatic return. You can see the numbers up here. I'm not going to belabor them. But the thing that we can't measure today from building these high-performance green buildings with lots of natural daylight is the enhanced sense of productivity that you get from your worker. I spent the first 13 years of my career inside a cinder block room in the windows. I'm an engineer, all right? That's the world I lived in. I came to Herman Miller. You can see this is the space that I live in today. This building's a quarter mile long, faces southwest, a wall of windows on front. There's 13 clear stories on top. Our manufacturing associates have access to natural daylight. The study that we did with Mattel, comparing the factory that we moved out of to the factory that we moved into, this building pays for itself in terms of absenteeism and productivity every 3 to 5 years. And that's the thing that really drives performance and sustainability. It's people. It's not just about the planet. You have to factor in the social side as well. When I joined Herman Miller in 2001, the recession that we were in right now, very similar situation. The dot-com bubble burst here in the U.S. Our supply management team was looking for every single cost savings that they could find. And my team had just put in place a policy to ban the use of PVC. At that time, our supply management team came forward and said, we've got a $1.5 million cost savings annually to change some parts from steel to PVC. I had the unenviable job of raising my hand and saying, this does not feel like the decision of a company that we want to be. That decision went all the way to the top of our company, and we walked away from that cost savings in the middle of what we would call a depression for our company. We went from a $2.2 billion company to a $1.2 billion company year over year. We were literally fighting for our lives, and we walked away from that cost savings. And it didn't mean that we didn't have to find that $1.5 million. You just couldn't get it by making our products more toxic to the environment. Another corporate goal we have as part of our Perfect Vision goals is to ensure that all of the products that we sell globally meet our corporate environmental standards. Today, we're pacing at over 50% of our products to meet what we call our DFE protocol. And we started from 0 when I joined the company. One of the things that we have to do as a company is balance these design constraints. We have cost, performance, durability, aesthetics, And what we've told our designers and engineers is that you've got to throw sustainability in there. It's an integral part of the design process now. It has been because of the history of our company, but now it's an outright addition into the development process. And this is a napkin sketch that was created by one of our legendary designers, Charles Eames. And somebody had the foresight to actually grab a napkin sketch, save it. And we coupled it with a quote where Charles stated that he doesn't remember accepting compromises, but he willingly accepted constraints. And a well-constrained problem is something you can solve. And that's what we're telling our current generation of designers and engineers is that sustainability is another constraint that we have to solve around. Conceptually, we want to focus on cycling our products, just like nature does. Nature doesn't waste materials. What we want to do when we design our products is ensure that they can be used in a closed-loop fashion. So the chair can come to life again as a chair, a piece of furniture, an automotive part, or if my team has done their job right from a safety standpoint, it could become a child's toy. That's the level of scrutiny we're applying to our products. So we look at designing for the environment. It's got to focus on the chemistry, designing for disassembly. We can take the greenest materials in the world, and if we don't design them to come apart, you really can't recycle them. And what we're doing now is also measuring the CO2 or the carbon footprint inside our products as a measure of the quantity and quality of energy that's going into them, realizing that we're living in an increasingly resource-constrained world. A big part of what we do is going out to our suppliers. We're asking for chemical formulations. It's really hard to benchmark and determine whether or not your product has toxic chemicals in it unless you're getting proprietary information. And one of the interesting things that we found is you go out to these large chemical companies, Dow, DuPont, asking them, tell me everything that's in your recipe. It's like going to Coca-Cola and asking for their secret formula. We've been doing it over those past 10 years. What you find is when you start looking at things like the fabrics, if anybody in here is wearing polyester, if you've got a Patagonia polar fleece, it's probably made using this type of water bottle. What we found going through this deep dive into our supply chain is that these water bottles are typically made using antimony as a catalyst to produce it. That antimony is a heavy metal. It's potentially toxic to us as humans. Some of it ends up entrained in the bottle. It gets ground up. And then when they reprocess it and dye that polyester, like they do to make fabrics for our furniture products, some of that antimony is released in the water. Some of it ends up in the bottle. And so we're stuck asking the question, why is the antimony in the bottle in the first place? And what can we do to take it out of it? That's the level of detail that we're at as a company to ensure that our products are as sustainable as possible. We take that information, we color code it. We live in a very simple world. It's green, yellow, red. And we're telling our designers and engineers is specify materials that are green or yellow. Red materials, antimony, PVC are materials that we don't want in our products. This is a picture of a chair, one of our chairs, designed for disassembly. This chair, you can take it apart in less than 15 minutes. I actually just did this earlier this week. I flew down to Florida and presented with our Vice President of Supply Management. He got to talk and give this long presentation, gave a 40-minute presentation on our environmental program, and then midway through the presentation, I got up on stage and took the chair apart. And that was what we're trying to demonstrate is that if you approach design properly, you can design your products to come apart really easily. And I'm a chemical engineer. I have no mechanical inclination whatsoever. All right? And I was able to take apart this product. And our designers like to say that they use geometry instead of chemistry to solve the problem. If I look at this section right here, actually I've got this laser pointer here I'll use. At least I think I'll use. This is what we call our matte back. All of those holes you see there, those are designed to provide different amounts of flexibility inside the back support. That's one material, polypropylene, completely recyclable. That one material provides a lot more performance and comfort than you guys were probably sitting in some really uncomfortable chairs over the past couple days. Compare that to the foam and fabric chair you're sitting in. This chair is infinitely more comfortable and designed to provide you with support so you can sit in it all day. That's what you can do when you approach it from a design perspective. LCA, as we evaluate things with LCA, we start to look at things more than just toxics. LCA really doesn't do a good job with toxics, but if you want to determine where are the high leverage points, where are causing the overall environmental impacts, it's life cycle assessment. That's a picture of our Setu chair. And I asked the question, does it weigh 1,200 pounds? It doesn't. But what we found is, in order to make that 20-pound chair, we have to pull 1,200 pounds of stuff out of the ground to make that chair. So large amount of waste throughout our value chain. Opportunity for us to refine that, lessen that waste, certainly. I think this is my last slide, and all of this is shared publicly. We are, in the spirit of transparency, we report out what we're doing in terms of our employee community engagement, our environmental achievements, and our Better World report. It's on hermanmiller.com if you want more information about where we've been, where we're going. And if I summarize quickly, the lessons that we've learned is that leadership requires commitment. And if you want to change the organizations that you're in, or will be in, you have to be able to convince your senior leadership team that this stuff matters. And sustainable design, it doesn't matter whether it's buildings, products, processes, energy. This is all possible today. We're doing this in a company, and we're doing it profitably. You can look at our annual statements, and the financial shape of our organization is strong. It doesn't work if it's just one company. You have to have your suppliers on board. It works even better if your clients understand that it's important. And we're a high-end company. And if we can get people to start asking the question, what are the environmental impacts associated with it, our win rate goes up. And the last thing is that I really believe that green does create value, and we're doing it on a daily basis. So thank you very much, and I'd be happy to answer whatever questions you have now. Yes.
There's a incineration plant in your company for the recycling or municipal solid waste incineration plant. Did you mention this?
I mentioned if the question was, do we have a recycling plant on site? And we don't have a recycling plant on site. What we do have is a waste energy facility. A fair amount of our products are made using wood or wood-based products. And that plant was set up to handle the wood waste and provide energy to the manufacturing site.
Is it possible to know the cost to burn per ton of waste wood?
The cost per ton, well, the waste is our waste. It's our own waste.
So you mean you self-disposal fee, you don't deliver it to others? Okay.
Yeah, so I conceivably, I know how much wood I have. I don't know off the top of my head, and I know what my disposal fee is, and I can figure out what the cost is. Yep.
Any other questions?
Okay, thank you.